Hi, I'm Corey Luna, and I'm with Rich Hogben, and you're watching Patch Dispatch from Piqued, where we talk about current events in electronic music. Rich, how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. You?
Doing okay. Things are all right. Got a year into my new company, and that's been very, very warm and rewarding.
Nice. Yeah, a year is it's a good milestone for anything new.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been nice. So I'm looking forward to continuing on and hopefully grow from there. But we'll see how that goes. So it is September 14th, and on the day that we're recording in 2023, and Knobcon just happened last week, and there was some really great people out there. That a lot of my friends were out there. Unfortunately, I couldn't get work off, but I saw some wonderful new products coming out. I know that the Discord channel, the Golden Shrimp Guild, had a booth there and did some performances. I think I saw a wonderful performance by your opponent, who you have probably heard our podcast interview with on North Beats Podcast, and it looked like a really fun time. Before we get further into that, let's give you some updates on what's going on with Piqued. Rich, we have a new domain name. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Piqued. Our website used to just be mostly a page of links to YouTube, and we had an older domain. It was piqued.page. And when we launched the new website, for technical reasons, we dropped that domain, and I grabbed piqued.website because that was available. But I don't think I put much thought into it. So yeah, we've got a new domain, piqued.fm. It's a little more relevant, I guess, to what we're doing. That was also one of your favorites. I know we talked about some other options. Yeah, FM is I think a good one.
FM is brief and has a good music reference.
Right. Yeah, so that's live. Google's just going through and mapping old pages to the new pages. But yeah, that's going. And we also updated the homepage. It's a little more article relevant, so when it opens you see articles versus before where we were showing more of like links, and that again was sort of a decision where the site was new, there wasn't a lot of content, and it was mostly let's fill the page with something. But yeah, now we've got some pretty good articles on there, and one of the articles that's featured is one of yours, so you just published this one.
Yeah, so last week on Tuesday, it was September 5th, and I had set up a month ahead of time to go see this show. And it was a nerdcore show with Mega Ran and MC Frontalot, with the opening act, Alice Knows Karate. It was held at DNA Lounge, and I had previously contacted the media contact. I think it's Tiny Robot Media. I could be wrong about that. I'll have to double check that name, but I'm pretty sure it was that. And so I spoke to Steve Albright of that. Sorry, Steve. I spoke to Steve Albertson and asked if I could come to the show on September 5th. And right away he said yes, as I gave him my credentials, as showed what you and I do on Piqued, and that I told him I would like to do an article about it and take some nice photographs of the show. So September 5th, my partner and I went out to DNA Lounge, and it was actually in the smaller space, which I had never been in there before, and had a wonderful time. Spoke with Mega Ran, MC Frontalot, got some really great photos. It was the first time I'd ever taken my new 85mm lens out to anywhere. I just got in the mail maybe a few days ahead of time. So that was actually really made a big difference in just being a event photographer and using a closer up lens like that. It made a really good difference, and I think the lens, the actual glass of this lens really has some bright colors in it. which really made a great difference in how the photographs came out. And I was really enthusiastic to actually write this article because nerdcore is dear to my heart, and it's part of the Bay Area's culture of music, but not just that, but it goes beyond, because MC Frontalot is one of the first people to really coin the phrase and come out doing what's known as nerdcore. And I think his first album was in 1999, and he's continuously put albums out. I think the most recent one was 2019. That's at least published on his Bandcamp page. And that was and if you've ever heard MC Frontalot or if you've even read his lyrics, you'll know how to the point he is with these wonderful messages he's rhyming just fluidly. And he's got a background in programming engineering, and it shows with his lyrics, as so much of what he talks about is the use of technology and how it's affecting us individually. And it's really fun. It's really catchy. It's fun, and also kind of gives you a sense of caution when you come out of the show and think about the technology and how it's affecting us, as the past 20 years really shows how much social media has affected our culture. And a lot of that's in his lyrics. He goes beyond that too. And there's some other really fun ones that he does. And then Megaran, fantastic guy. He's got so much range, because he even has a background in chorus singing from church. And it really shows in his voice, because he's a fantastic rapper, but can also sing brilliantly. And he's best known for coming up in nerdcore as doing raps about Mega Man. He even has a Guinness World Record for writing the most raps about Mega Man games, which is pretty cool. And if you read his book, I think it's Dream Master, From the Stoop to the Stage to the Stars, by Raheem Jarbo, who is Megaran, talks about his coming up, and it's really brilliant on how he really broke through. And I first came aware of him back in maybe 2009 is probably when I first heard him, and yet he's been making records since 2006. So it took a little while for him to get going, but he's been going really strong for over a decade now. And I'm really impressed to see how much he's grown. And his new album, Buddy's Magic Toy Box, was his main material for the show. And again, if you know Megaran's style, he never swears in his lyrics, which is, I think, part of his being an educator background. And I think also possibly because how he was raised as well. And it really shows with his lyrics. And the other part of his new album is he was inspired by being a new dad. And
right.
He and his wife have a foster kid. And he's so proud of the kid. And just has become his world, it seems. And all of those songs are about, are songs that are geared to be for children. And the raps, there's a ska song on there. He's got a lot of range. And it was amazing because when I was writing the article, I was talking to my partner about this, because Megaran actually had everybody sit down in the theater as he sat at the edge of the stage and sang one of his songs. And we felt like in the audience, like we were being brought into congregation. Although my partner, as I didn't write it like that in the article, there's a different phrase I use, so it sounds less angelical and more inclusive in the way that I wrote it. But it's I hope everyone gets a chance to read it. It's called Transmetronerdian, which is a reference to Transmetropolitan. Really great late 90s, early 2000s comic book from DC.
Yeah, it's featured on the Piqued homepage right now. The photos turned out really good.
Oh, thank you.
I like how they're very colorful, but it still has that dark look to it, which is hard to do, I think. So definitely check it out. And then what I know there was a new NEUROBLAST zine edition.
That's right. Our friend James Symes of Isotope Comics just put out a new NEUROBLAST edition of his DiskZine called Cyberdelia. And he did it with, I actually went down to his comic book shop this past week, I think on maybe on Tuesday, chatted with him for a little bit and got some information about how he crammed all this information within a 3-week period in a rush to get this zine, this special edition out so that he could have it ready for a screening of the 1995 film Hackers at DNA Lounge this past week ago. So he did that, and unfortunately I couldn't make it out, but it sounded so fun. He said that the owner had actually set up rollerblade tracks throughout,
nice.
I guess maybe on the sides of the theater, which I can't imagine doing that.
I wonder how many people were rollerblading.
I wish I was. That sounds like so much fun because that's straight out of Hackers.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
Now, he's got some really fun articles. He's always got some fantastic information on there that I don't want to spoil on here because you should go check out NEUROBLAST's Cyberdelia edition. And
I have the Internet Archive link open. Now I'm showing, okay. Yeah, you have to open the app and then the folder. And then which one of these launches the HyperCard? Oh boy. README. There's a README. I mean, it's probably the one that says HyperCard.
Yes.
Let's see if it works. I probably should have had it started up. It took a while to boot the Macintosh. So
oh my God.
I'll let it run for a little bit and see. Oh, no. Now I just launched the HyperCard app. Oh boy. Okay. Well, hopefully someone that's more familiar with, I did it before. I don't remember how I got to it. Yeah, we'll post the Internet Archive link to the Cyberdelia edition if you want to check it out. Cool.
Yeah, and he has as the first edition, he had also physical floppy disks to pick up at Isotope Comics. Now I picked up one in an orange floppy disk for myself. So if anyone goes down to Isotope Comics, you can get a physical copy of the DiskZine of NEUROBLAST.
Nice.
So if you have, a grape-colored G2 Mac, I think it is, you can actually read it. All right. So let's get back to Knobcon. That happened just this past weekend. A lot of cool stuff out there. A lot of cool vendors. Rich, I know that you and I couldn't make it out there, but we both watched a couple of videos of reviews of who was there and some of the featured gear. What was some of the items that stood out to you?
I'd have to say, I'd agree with what you kind of picked up on. I would have liked to have gone too. You've been to Chicago before, right?
I've been to Chicago a few times. Unfortunately, never specifically for Knobcon.
Right. That's something I think we should definitely plan on maybe next year. I don't know.
2024 Piqued at Knobcon. That should easily happen.
I watched some of the walkthrough videos, of people that were there, and all the modular manufacturers and synth manufacturers have their booths set up. I think I liked seeing a lot of the smaller stuff, obviously Moog is there and some of the bigger manufacturers, but you get FaceTime and you get to meet some of the manufacturers maybe you haven't heard before. I think that's kind of cool. There was one piece, I don't know if you saw any pictures of it. I think it was called like Modular for the Masses. They looked like these weird cans. And it was all like wires and cables and blinky lights. And I don't know if it made sound or not, but I kept seeing that pop up in people's feeds. Maybe I'll show a photo of it if I can find it later. That was pretty cool.
I did see that. I watched Jeremy's video of who is Red Means Recording. Watched his 20-minute video, which is mostly of Knobcon and then also the Chicago Zoo he went to.
Yeah. He might have shown a quick drive-by of it. I'm
pretty sure he actually caught some footage of it. Again, just video. I don't think there was any audio that I could hear.
No. Yeah, he was doing kind of a walkthrough. But he also mentioned the one you mentioned, which was the new module from 1010 Music, the Bluebox.
That's right, the Bluebox Mixer from 1010 Music, and it's been a popular desktop item where you can. It's designed to work with a modular system, Eurorack specifically, with using the 1/8" jacks, and this is now an update to that, where instead of it being a desktop, now it's a Eurorack edition. So it's got extra inputs. It actually has 2 USB-C inputs on the face, and you've got your in-out for MIDI, which is always important, and I think is also a really nice feature that has remained on there. And the biggest thing to me is having 2 USB inputs on the front of the panel. That makes a lot of sense, and it features that you can. It also has, I believe, 4 outputs for audio, which I believe was also on the original one as well. But it's nice that you can actually you can record in and out and send audio at the same time. It makes a lot of sense, and I believe that the USB-C allows you to record directly to a computer, or at least send a signal to your computer while also recording on the SD card.
Yeah, I like that we're finally getting USB-C more often than not. Yeah, the Bluebox, some of the product line is a little confusing to me because they have that desktop version, which I think the mixer is called the Black Box. Or no, it's the Black Box.
No.
They have
the Black Box is the sampler.
The sampler. And then in the module world, they have the Bitbox, which is the sampler Eurorack version, which is sort of like the Black Box, but not. Maybe it's a little different. Maybe that's why they didn't carry the name over. But this one they did. They're both called Bluebox, right?
Right. It just says Bluebox Edition. Eurorack Edition is how it's referred to.
Right. But the Bitbox sampler, maybe it's a little too different from the desktop version, so maybe that's why it's named differently.
It could be. It's a good point. Let's investigate on that and maybe cover that in an article.
Yeah, but I like that these, we're getting these larger mixers. Even though I'm not too big of a fan of throwing the mixer in the rack, just 'cause it takes up a lot of space, but I can get it if you want to have everything in your box. This looks like a really good option. I like that. Yeah, I like the touch screen and stuff. It's just convenient,
It's a pretty big display. It's 30 HP, which does, for Eurorack, is massive.
Rather than having a big display that's just taking up space. I mean, obviously you can look at it, but when you turn it into something you can touch, it's a little more, it makes more sense, I guess, as far as the space it takes up.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited that that's going to be coming out in October of 2023. So next month, that we should start seeing some of that popping up on some of your favorite places to buy modules and shops.
Cool.
And I know our friend Evan Buswell, who creates New System Instruments, was also at Knobcon. So I'm always glad, and he's been there before, but I'm glad that he's still doing it, and he's making the trade shows. And of course, Zwab Modular was at Knobcon because he's He's based out of I think he's based out of Schaumburg actually. So I'm sure he was out there with his wonderful analog modules.
Yeah, it definitely would be a fun thing to do next year for sure. I think we'll have to plan on that. Plus, that Chicago a bit makes it easier. Like
my partner,
where to get the
from the area.
You know where to get the good hot dogs, the ones with the pickle and the tomato.
Yeah, Chicago hot dog. Yeah. Funny thing is my partner still says the best place to get it is in the park.
In the park, like from a vendor.
Yeah,
like from a vendor. It's like the best way to do it.
I can get that. It's like the street tacos thing in LA. Like
yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, one other item I wanted to bring up today was a product called Mixxtape. And looks like from the URL, it's from a company called Paul Things, which I believe is just one developer on this product. And to me, I really like this product because it's nostalgic, but also is an update with contemporary technology. The Mixxtape being an actual cassette tape, an audio cassette tape, has features where it becomes an audio player of digital formats. It actually covers I believe every format there is. It's not just MP3. It does AAIC. I believe it might do WAVE. It's pretty impressive on the amount of formats it plays. Has a touch screen on it. Has a USB micro SD card in there.
Right. It reminds me of the like the old tape deck adapters you used to be able to get. Like if your car had a tape player, you could get an adapter that would go in, and then it had an aux jack that you could plug into your phone. So I guess they're using that same technology, right? But now, of course, nowadays, everything is so miniaturized, you can pack in not just the tape adapter, but a battery, the screen, a PCB board, memory, a USB-C connector. It's crazy. Is this a Kickstarter? Or
I believe he started out as a Kickstarter. I don't think it could be up there. I haven't been on Kickstarter in a minute, but that's a good question.
You can actually, are they shipping?
I believe so. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I'm on the site now. I'm looking. Oh, okay, wait. It's not, okay. It's $60. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of crazy.
That's surprisingly.
I mean, $60 for it comes with a case, a cable, stickers. Yeah, I mean it's pretty decent. I mean,
wow.
I mean, I guess you can just use it as like sort of an MP3 player-ish kind of deal. Like you don't have to use the tape part, right? But you could.
Correct. You could just. I believe it has a headphone jack in it, so it can just be a portable music device by itself.
That's interesting.
And I don't know if you could actually put this into a tape deck.
No, I think you can. I think that's.
I hope so.
Yeah. Because it's.
Oh, it comes with a tape deck. It comes with a portable cassette player.
Right. There's two versions, right? I think the other version, you can buy the full package.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is those old adapters, but just packed with other stuff. It's cool. Interesting. Where did you find this thing?
I heard about this on Instagram, actually. It was just kind of popped up in my feed one day, and I've actually been following this guy for maybe a year or so, and I've reached out to him once or twice, but I think he's been ducking me. That's okay. I still enjoy his products, and maybe hopefully he'll talk to me one day.
Yeah, if somebody has one or knows about it, maybe write some comments and let us know how it is. That'd be cool. Cool.
Yeah, it's a fun product. All right. Well, Rich, I think we have covered quite a bit for what happened at Knobcon what's going on with Piqued, with our new Piqued.fm URL, and a wonderful nerdcore article for all the lovable people that loves everything that's about video games and science and education.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully we have some new content coming. We've got a secret project we're working on this weekend.
We do certainly have.
So hopefully it works out.
Hope so. And in the meantime, people should hopefully everyone gets a chance to check out Shabalba's new remix of her album on our new podcast, Seismic Audio Podcast, which I believe is on how many places have we posted that? It's on Spotify, iTunes, podcast, and
and the website.
And our website.
Everything's always on the website. But yeah, Spotify and Apple. Google Podcasts, I can't figure it out. They're weird. The fact that you can't submit, they have to find the content is like really aggravating. So it's still not working. It's like, oh, we don't know about this thing yet. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess you're not going to show it then. I don't know how long it takes.
Man.
Months, 6 months. It's crazy. But whatever. I don't know who uses that anyways. And then Google would probably kill it off in a matter of years. Anyway, so.
And then everyone can also listen to a wonderful interview I did with the artist Sarah Turner, who does a lot of video art primarily. And that was a really fun interview. So please check that out on North Beats Podcast.
Yep. And do you know who's coming up next? Do you want to say, or is it a secret?
Actually, I'm going to be talking to Sheena.wave.
Oh, okay.
I'll be actually speaking with her tomorrow. So for October, that will be our guest on North Beats Podcast.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Oh yeah, also tomorrow I'm hanging out with the SoCal Synth Society for
what's going on with that?
A little event in Pasadena. They have Synth Dad was visiting again. I think, because he was at Knobcon probably, and he's going to be in California tomorrow. So they're doing just a little event. He's going to play a couple other people. That's floating around if you're in LA or nearby, there's an RSVP for it on our Instagram. So check that out if you have time tomorrow. It's later in the evening, around I think it starts at 8. So that'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that. All right. Well, this has been Patch Dispatch. I'm Korey Luna and Rich Hogben. Good night.
Bye.